probably isn't going to look like much, but this is Algonquin trip 2015. We started off here at Magnetawan Lake and didn't get on the water till like 2:20. Quickly into Hambone, down, I think we were able to paddle through this first 50-meter portage. Then into Daisy Lake, up through Daisy into the Petawawa River. From the Petawawa we got into Little Misty Lake, then on into Misty Lake. Spent our first night on Misty at this corner campsite, or one of the first sites right in the lake. Beautiful campsite, but man, the bugs were terrible. We got there after 9 and were just eaten alive by the mosquitoes. And they eventually went to bed around 10:30 or something, but it was hot and buggy. The campsite was beautiful, but the bugs were terrible. Until they went away, then it was great, and the next morning it was beautiful. Then the next day, paddled from that site on through Misty, all the way back into the Petawawa River, through a myriad of portages, and made it down into White Trout Lake. It's quite a maze at the beginning of this lake through all the little boggy type things and the lily pads and stuff. But once we made it through that, our goal was to go to Big Trout Lake, but it was already 8 p.m. and it was raining off and on. So we stopped at this sort of long, skinny island, and that was a beautiful campsite, really nice. So we spent the night there, and then the next morning we got on the lake and just came right on up into Big Trout and stayed at this first tiny little island as soon as you get in the lake. And that was another fantastic sight. And we got there early enough that it was a nice, long, relaxing day, and just couldn't have been nicer. After that, the following day, we turned around and headed back into White Trout, on down through Grassy Bay, which that turned into a bit of a maze through the bog and the marsh, and a couple of portages through McIntosh Creek and into McIntosh Lake. We stayed at this little site on an island, which was a really nice site. Clearly they've been doing some maintenance there this year, so that was really nice. Then the next day we headed out and portaged into Timberwolf Lake, then back up in Misty. Stopped on this little island on Misty for lunch because we knew we had a grueling portage ahead of us, and so took the 940 back into Little Misty Lake, and then the 2,430 meter portage into Queer Lake. We double portage everything every time, and on the second portage Liz twisted her ankle, and it definitely slowed us down a little bit. She was in quite a bit of pain, so that's never good. So after we made it to Queer Lake, it was just a short jaunt from the portage to our site, and we're going to spend 2 nights at this site. Tomorrow's our last day, and we'll head up into Little Trout Lake, and down into Ralph Bice Lake, back into Hambone, and back into Magnetawan. So tomorrow should be a pretty easy day. Hopefully we'll get a reasonable start on the day so we can get heading home at a reasonable time tomorrow. But really, really a beautiful trip. All the campsites have had these big old growth hemlocks in them, and nice, needle covered ground. It's been just really nice camping for the last week.